When I signed up the first time, it was like 5.5 years ago, and I was 61 years old. A couple of months passed, and I thought, what am I doing? I'm 61 years old, even though I work out. These people are going to kick my butt. And so I thought of the Paragon as a competition, kind of like it's like people are going to try to outdo another and stuff like that. But it wasn't like that at all.
If I stayed on the course that I was on before Paragon, they would have been very, very different outcomes. Without a doubt, doctors, if you didn't lose the weight, if you didn't control what you were doing, if you weren't as consistent with your workouts and your nutrition, we'd be having a very different and negative conversation.
So, I mean, maybe we get right to it. I mean, does anybody want to kind of volunteer and talk about your former Paragon experience, why it was the single greatest thing you've ever done in your lives, and why you're so super califragically excited about this upcoming one? And I can just call out names, Lou.
So this is like, I'm super stoked, and this is my third time coming. So I mean, listen, I took out so much positive experiences from it, from the talks to the workouts and everything. But I mean, bottom line, the reason why I keep coming back, besides you and Shauna, to be honest with you, is that it's fun. It's so much fun. It's such a good time, and to be around like-minded people, that's what I love. It's everybody's there. Everybody's on the same track. Not everybody's at the same fitness level. That's not the point, but nobody doesn't encourage the other person. It is so positive. It's such a great experience. And you know, you're pushed. You're pushed to limits. Me climbing up that rope, scared the crap out of me, and the first time I came, I didn't do it. I didn't do it because, fear overcame me. And the second time, I got my ass up there and I did it. So yeah, and just the positivity, the talks, and just the combination of it all. That's why I want to come back. And again, bottom line, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's Willy Wonka's house of fitness. So, it's great.
But that's going in the ad.
Yes. And speaking of that, Lou, because that's one of the things I want to really relay to people is that I think, and Mary has verbalized this so succinctly before, so we'll get to her as well. But just your self-limiting beliefs. What did Paragon do for you in that sense? Like why you didn't go up the rope the first time, but you did the second time, and how did you feel after that? And just kind of speak to that.
So at Paragon Experience, getting up the rope the first time really messed with my mind, and I got halfway up, and I didn't push myself. Even though everybody was cheering me on. But the second time I came back to Paragon, I said, gosh darn it, I'm getting up there or I'm falling off of it, one or the other. And everybody encouraged me, and I got my butt up that rope. And again, and it's not because people were yelling my name. It wasn't because of that. It was because of the weekend of Paragon. It was because of the positivity of Paragon. That's what got my ass up that rope. Was everything combined. It was the full combination of that weekend and coming back to it a second time, knowing what to expect, knowing the positivity that comes out of it. And that's what got me up the rope. And I keep, every time I tell a story about Paragon, it starts with the rope.
Luke, can you talk a little bit about, because you were a first-time guy at one point, obviously anybody that came for the first time, like, what the hell is this? You were probably on the fence. Should I or should I not go? What would you say to some of the first timers, like anybody who's sort of on the fence right now? They go, oh, I can't do ninja. I'm 70 pounds overweight. I don't think this is going to be a benefit for me. What would you tell those first-time Paragon participants?
I would tell you that I had the exact same feelings the first time I came to Paragon. I was like, oh my God, I am way over my head. I am definitely swinging over my head at this point. And trust me, I wish I had the knowledge of the second time, of the second time that I went on the first time, because just leave your fears at home. Trust me, leave your fears at home. Everybody there is going to pick you up. There is no fitness level that can't do Paragon. Let me repeat that. There's no fitness level that cannot come to Paragon and take away an amazing experience from it. I mean, Paragon is life-changing in so many ways. It's 4 days of amazement. of 4 days of awesomeness. It really is. It really is. And yeah, leave your fears at home. Leave your fears at home. You're going to sweat. You're going to be cheered on, and you're going to do things you didn't think you could do.
One of the things that I noticed being at a couple of Paragons with the groups, and even just being at a ninja workout at Tony's or something like that, is that generally people don't know what they're capable of. And in a situation like at Paragon, where they're challenged in a way that they have not been challenged before, whether it's climbing a rope or being on the ninja course or even just on a pull-up bar, if it's something they've never done before, they just don't know what they're capable of. And I think, speaking to what Lou said, we sort of come from a place of fear with a lot of things. And if you leave that behind, like Lou suggested, then Paragon can show you what you're capable of. And I've seen it. I've seen people shocked that they can do something. They never thought they'd get up that rope. They never thought they would get that peg in that hole. They never thought they could do a pull-up. But the encouragement and the atmosphere and Tony screaming at them, it gets them up the rope. It gets them up the pegboard. Whatever it is, it's inside them already. They just don't know it. And I think that's one of the more powerful things Paragon does.
Brian, you were one of the ones yelling at me to get up the rope. So
Yeah, it was you, Brian, not me. So there you have it.
no, it was you too. It was you too.
We have two people that need to jump off early, so to respect their time, I'm going to have Dawn go next, and then after Dawn, we'll go to Tamaya, and then we can just kind of willy-nilly it. So, Dawn, we'd love to hear why you and yeah, how you feel about it and why you want to.
Dawn, I don't know. You're breaking up pretty bad where I am, and you're only 10 feet away. So I don't know how. Is that everybody else's experience or just me?
Yes.
Yeah, you're frozen solid now, Mrs. Horton. You're frozen solid, honey. So Dawn, why don't you go?
I'm in the vortex. I'll come downstairs.
She's moving. Yeah, go for it, Dawn.
Okay. Well, I did have a fear of signing up for Paragon. I actually filled out the application, and I'm air quoting application, a couple of times before I finally sent it. I'm a fitness professional. I teach classes. At the time I taught at the fitness center at my gym at work, and then I taught after work. So I was constantly working out, but I wasn't really working out for myself. I was working out for others. And when I first started into that field, I got into a pretty decent shape, but then it just became doing the same things over and over again. And I really needed to do something for myself. So I needed a mindset shift. I needed a challenge. So when I went to Paragon, I got all of that. From the talks, the people that I met, some we still keep in contact. So most of them are in Power Nation as well. But my main focus was for me to shift, the mind shift, because fitness has been part of my life. I ran track, basketball, gymnastics, did all those things as a kid, but I just was kind of stuck. So when I went to Paragon, I was challenged. Every now and again, I get to see my timing from the obstacle course. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was in the beginning, because I was disappointed because I felt I could have done better. But I still was challenged throughout the whole time, mentally and physically. One of my biggest achievements after leaving Paragon was that I believed in myself. I could do big things. I was able to cheer myself on versus me always trying to motivate someone else. And then being a part of the Power Nation, I got into the best shape of my life at 55.
And you have to prove it.
Yes. And that was a big a challenge as well, because that mind shift allowed me to focus more on myself, really look at my nutrition, be more consistent for myself, because that's not what I was doing before. So after the first one, that was my mind shift, and that was my achievement afterwards. Why I'm so excited about coming again, because last year I had some medical challenges, and I now have some things that I have to keep in consideration. So I need another shift. I need another boost. So where could I get that? Around like-minded people at Paragon again. And I'm really looking forward to the Ninja course as well, because that would be a great challenge for me. But I know I did it before and I can do it again. And I really look forward to the camaraderie. I look forward to the challenge. And another thing that I learned from the Paragon the first time was that I like to be challenged not only mentally, but physically. And I'm really looking forward to that, because I have not been challenged since the beta 1, 2, and 3. So I'm looking forward to this upcoming challenge, and also meeting some new friends.
Awesome. And you know, it's cool, Don, and you touched upon this, which is kind of gold for anybody who's been through that experience where, you know, there are fears and trepidations, and like Brian touched upon it too, like there's this sense of not really knowing who you are. And when you come to Paragon and you participate in, you know, everything, every piece to it, you know, Michael's workouts, my workouts, all the tutorials and the seminars, and you know, the diet stuff, and Melissa's speech on food, you know, I mean, there's so much information there that there's a dramatic shift and change. There's a transformation that happens in 4 days that for a lot of people takes decades to get to, you know what I mean? And you're not overwhelmed. I don't think anybody ever feels so overwhelmed by it, but you know, that's why a lot of you have come more than once, and sometimes 3 times, just to kind of reiterate and plant those seeds again. And so, you know, Dawn, you're a perfect example of somebody who had these fears and these concerns, even though you're in the fitness industry. You know, this thing is an unknown. And when you come and you experience it, you just know so much more. So the second time you had more information. And now as a result, you are a completely different person, physically, mentally, and emotionally, than you were the first time you came, even though you were doing pretty well. You know what I mean? There are challenges now in your future that you're not afraid of, that you wouldn't even have touched way back in the day. And you're 55. So, you know, you're like, there's not a whole lot of people who are in that headspace, in that physical space. And that's what we're trying to do here at Paragon, is to get more and more people to have that journey, the journey that you've been on, so that you can just live the biggest life you can live.
Yeah, and I'll also add with that is, because you get like the postmenopausal for us women, that's something that everyone's afraid of that. You keep hearing all these negative things, but your body still can change. You don't have to, in my book, the puffiness, you don't have to settle for that. You can get rid of that. It does not, if you don't like it, you can get rid of it. You can hear what your doctors say. There's science, all that. I hear that, because even with my, I don't like to claim it, but with my challenge that I have now, and it's like, you know, you shouldn't do certain things because you may or may not aggravate it. I'm like, may or may not. So what do? I not do anything? But no, I'm going to continue. But I will listen to my body. I will do the best that I can, and I will continue to challenge myself.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Who else? Thank you, Don. Perfection, as usual. Tamaya, did you have a time constraint too? Did you want to go? You might be muted. I think your sound is muted, unless.
Okay, there we go. I figured it out. Can you guys
just try to use the word Paragon, you know, when you say stuff. Nice work, Dawn and Lou, on that.
Hey everyone, it's so good to see everyone. Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, when I went to Paragon for the first time, I pretty much was terrified because it's a new experience. This is, you know, pre-Power Nation, so I didn't really know the people I'm about to meet, you know, my second time at Paragon, and I'm not really good at putting myself out there. So I didn't really know what to expect other than, you know, meeting the Tony Horton, right? Like that's a big thing to begin with. That's
yeah, Michael.
Right. I'll get to Michael in just a minute.
That's
But
the finale.
so I was terrified. And I remember when I got picked up on the bus, I was a little shaky. Michael picked us up. Everybody was on the bus already. And then we got to Tony's house, we sat down and everybody was super welcoming. Like that was my very first experience, that everybody was super nice, super welcoming. And, that obviously puts you at ease, but then there are the challenges that are about to come. And I remember, I wish I had the picture with me, but I remember in Tony's backyard, we did the obstacle course, and there was that jump, which looking back now, it wasn't that big of a jump. But as I was standing in front of that obstacle, I was like, there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can do that. And then I did make the jump, and Scotty Mo took a picture, which is an amazing picture. And I jumped so much
Cleared it by
higher.
2 feet, I believe.
I did, but I didn't think I would be able to do that. And I think that point really made a difference and in, the trajectory of my fitness as well, because it made me realize that I hold myself back a lot of times. Like in my mind, I'm like, I can't do that. I think I cannot do that, but I can. And one of the amazing things about Paragon, and Lou touched on that too, is everybody's super supportive. Everybody's encouraging, and that gives you that boost, that gives you that mental boost that, you know what, I can give it a try. And then you surprise yourself by being able to do it. So after that, at home, I did the box jumps. I invested in more fitness equipment because I realized that the world is so much bigger than what I've been doing. It's not just dumbbells and jumping jacks. There's so much more to it, and being able to work out with Michael as well. I loved all the animal flow routines. That was, I think, my first experience really going through that, and that challenges your body in a whole new way. Flexibility, mobility, and fitness. I feel like a lot of times we expect ourselves to just get better and better and better, but that's not how it works. Fitness is not like a linear progression, constant progression. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and that's okay. So Paragon challenged me physically. I reached, new highs, that I did things that I never thought I could do. But also the other speakers going through Tony's 11 laws, lifestyle, mindset are a big part of it, which I think is super important, super beneficial. And when I saw that we're going to be doing a Paragon and the Ninja course, I immediately wanted to do it. I feel like Ninja course, it's intimidating. I don't think, I'm probably not going to be able to do the whole Ninja course, right? But that's not the point. The point is that you challenge yourself, you push yourself, you do your best, and you just improve from there. I think that, sometimes sometimes people may be hearing Ninja course and that's intimidating. We watched American Ninja Warrior with the kids, and we always loved watching Jesse Graff and see what they accomplish, and some of those kids, what they can do. I don't think I'm at that level, but it's a super exciting challenge, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Tamaya, can you talk to the beginners that might be on the fence, and for you beginners out there, here's what I learned when I was in that state. My first thing, because that's the thing. There's a lot of people who are sort of
and people who are really intimidated about the ninja, and they don't understand what that does for you mentally. So I'd love to hear your opinion.
Yeah, a lot of folks think it's the 4-day ninja course thing, where it's
it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. Fitness is, one part of it, but, all the speakers, but to the beginners. So little backstory for me, and I'm going to keep it short. I was exempt from physical education from 5th grade on, which led to chronic back pain. I started working out, out of desperation to do something for my back pain. And I kind of got addicted. My back pain went away. I got stronger. I was able to do push-ups, couple pull-ups, here and there as well. But to the beginners, it's good to put yourself out there, because nobody starts at the top. Everybody is a beginner at one point. What sets us apart, the beginners from those that, take a couple of steps forward, is that we do take those couple of steps forward. We step out of our comfort zone, and we we say, you know what, I'm going to try. And it's not failing, if you try. I couldn't, as an example, I couldn't go up the rope all the way, but I don't feel like I failed because I tried and I gave it my best. And my best, doesn't have to be Michael Bradley's best, or definitely not Tony Horton's best, right? But it's my best.
Yeah, Michael's
And as
horrible
long
with
as
the ropes. It's just embarrassing to watch.
Yeah,
I
it's
know,
a joke.
seriously.
I can barely do a rope with one arm. It's really crazy.
Oh, well, last time you just did it without any arms. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I feel like just putting yourself out there and believing in yourself, and not going, it's not an all or nothing mindset, right? It's not like, oh, if I can do this, if I can go through the entire ninja course, I failed in a way, or I'm not good at this. You're good at it because you're trying.
To me, when I hear what you're saying, again, just like with Dawn, a completely different mind shift. Before you experience something, your brain and your body is saying, no, not, can't, I can't. And then, once you put your foot in the water a little bit and you hear all that positive, encouragement from me and Michael and Brian and everybody else that's attending, you get into that really amazing place where you go, okay, I'm going to give something a try, and I'm not going to judge the process. And if I don't get all the way up or halfway up, or I can't get it all, at least I'm glad I'm here. At least I'm learning something. And then you take all that information and you go home and you end up buying a whole bunch more fitness equipment. You know what I mean? So you can start to play on that thing. And the neat thing is that nobody's getting younger, right? I mean, we're all, I'm 66, which is the craziest number in the entire world. But I chased a guy on a mountain today. This guy, John, who was climbed the third highest peak in next to Everest, like last week. I was at 20,000 feet. And so this guy he's got lungs like nobody's business. He's got a resting heart rate of 31. And at 66, it was fun to be able to chase him all day. And I couldn't have done that even 5 years ago when I was younger. So the neat thing about what you've experienced with Lou and Dawn and others are you're just so much more capable, and your life becomes so much bigger, so much more interesting, so much more adventurous. Like you're just building these memories that are spectacular that just would not exist otherwise. And you can get all that in 4 days. I mean, that's kind of magical.
That's actually a really good point. Is there anyone on the call right now that tried something after Paragon that they would not have thought they were capable of or wouldn't have tried before Paragon? John.
What do you got, John? And John, you can tell us your experience too. Mix your experience in with it. Hear
me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, really, the wasn't sure capable of prior to God.
John, you're breaking up sadly, which is a bummer.
My audio, okay. Give me 1 second.
Okay. And hey, John.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, your light just improved too, because you were we couldn't see it very well, but now you're handsome as snot, so it's good. And hopefully we'll be able to hear you. Yeah, still breaking up.
All right, you know what? Log that in their machine, and then I'll for you. Right?
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. All right, man.
Is there anyone else who wants to jump in on that same question?
And tell your story as well.
Yeah. Chris.
Well, so for me, Paragon Experience, and this might have been in the marketing pitch, but food, fitness, and fun, absolutely, right? It's 4 days, great. Like everyone else has said, I've made some lifelong friends in and out of the Power Nation groups, and just for me also, things that I've carried forward for the lifetime. And it was about a reset. I was really afraid, and so in answer to the question, I'm still afraid of heights. But I try really, really hard to, when I'm going to places, like, for example, for me, it's just tough to be, I'm a little agoraphobic. It's hard to be on the top of I think it's correct, like a wide open space on top with heights together. It's really tough for me, which is why on the rope climb for me, with the rope being precipitously close to a ravine, that was a little challenging. So I think I made it about a third or 2/3 the way up, but it was great. I just closed my eyes and I did it, and everyone encouraged me. So now when I go to these places that I might have to climb up, stairs on a ridge, I'm still really white knuckled about it, but I push. I try to channel that in my head, and in particular too on the pegboard. I remember Tony. I was walked up the pegboard. It was my turn, and the first thing out of my mouth were excuses, and he stopped me about 2 words in, and he's like, no, you're defeating yourself. Just do it. And I did it. And he boosted me up. The Tony Horton. I mean, other than Brian Palatucci, my lifelong hero, the Tony Horton boosted me up on that pegboard, gave me the help I needed, and I made it across that pegboard. So I try to remind myself from the Paragon experience of those experiences so that when I'm in these life opportunities, I don't pass on them all. There's a couple that I still might pass on, but I rewind that tape in my head and I'm like, nope, just do it. And as others have mentioned, what was really great for me, because I had fear going into it, and in particular being around a lot of athletes. And everyone there by definition is an athlete because they're putting in the work, but they're athletes at every level, beginner all the way to what I would consider professional athletes. And the great part was everyone was equally encouraging, everyone equally supportive. And so within your own skill level, Tamaya said it, right? It's my best isn't going to be somebody else's best, but that encouragement to just do our best. Again, more lifelong lessons. So it's those takeaways I continue to repeat, and that's part of why I'm going back. Tony used a phrase in one of the Power Nation videos early on where about getting a little squishy. Well, I'm getting a little squishy, and I could use a reset. So it's back to Paragon for me, and just sort of relearn some lessons and reinvigorate a little bit. And I'm really looking forward to it.
And Chris, is the one thing that you touched upon that is so important. You come to this event, petrified or otherwise, and you find out that there is a lot of encouragement. But along with that, there are these people that are running the show. Me and Michael and Brian and Jesse Graff and whoever else, who guide you along the way. I mean, I didn't grow up with mentors. I didn't grow up with people who are who would understand, my fears and trepidations and lack of athleticism or wherever it was where I was struggling. And it took a long, long time. I mean, I was kind of self-mentored, however else I figured it out. And that's what you get here. That's one thing you get at Paragon is you get some real experts who know what they're doing. They have lots of history when it comes to not only the physical part, but the mental and emotional approach to trying certain things, you know what I mean? And so once that new intel comes in and you got these people that you like and trust, real athletes, and they show you the various steps, because, you see a pegboard on a wall and you don't have anybody to show you how to do it. It's like, I'm not even going near that thing. It just seems petrifying. But with your experience, this is a great one. You're like, oh, this or that and the other thing. I mean, you're taking a peg out, and now for a brief period of time, you're holding yourself up with the hope that you're going to reach higher and put it in the hole, and it's like, don't stab it. Just, Scott Morgan was brilliant at his technique on how to make your way. And there's just things that you learn that allows you to get up the rope, allows you to get on the pegboard, allows you to get through that ninja course.
And I want to double down on that. My conversations, Tony, with you, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but Michael, Scotty, Brian, Tasha, Jesse, every single conversation, even 1 or 2 or 3 minutes in a hallway, the takeaways were lifelong and for my personal journey, but also really for the fitness journey, both of those things. So it's, I highly valuable opportunity to get inside the brains of folks. And what I really liked, and that's what you said, Tony, their proactiveness. They would see something or hear something and step in and offer that pearl of wisdom, as opposed to having to know what I didn't know. It was worth every minute.
Good, nice. John, how's your audio visual?
Oh, how's it sound now? I took out my AirPods.
Oh, you're like next door. Can you add any light a little bit to your gorgeous face, or figure out a lamp?
Let me check the lighting in the room. I know it's kind of dark.
Well, John's doing that. Gloria, do you want to take some rock and roll?
Yeah, sure. So it's nice to hear that everybody was scared, because I thought I was the only one that was scared in the first Paragon.
By the way, I was scared too, I want you to know that.
Oh my God. So when I signed up the first time, it was like 5.5 years ago, and I was 61 years old. So I thought, I was so excited. I was going to meet Tony, all of these things. But then a few months passed. I signed up in February of 2019, and a few months passed. It was going to be in August, and Paragon was going to be in August. And so a couple of months passed, and I thought, what am I doing? I'm 61 years old, even though I work out. These people are going to kick my butt. And so to me, I thought of the Paragon as a competition, kind of like, it's like people are going to try to outdo another and stuff like that. But it wasn't like that at all. I went there and everybody was welcoming, no matter, and there were all kinds of fitness levels, like has been said. And it was challenging, but the thing that I loved about Paragon is that all the things that, even though I failed at a lot of things like that damn rope, I bought a rope when I came back. I still can't get up that rope.
Yeah, that's all right.
But anyway, but what I did learn is how much I could do. So I think I was the oldest person there. There might have been one gentleman who was older than I was, but I beat everybody at the wall squat 9 minutes and some odd seconds, and I couldn't believe it. I will never forget that. I don't know what it was, but I did it. So it's just it was one of the Paragon was one of the best experiences of my life. My cousin lives in California, and she came and picked me up afterwards. And when I got in the car, the first thing she said was, "How was it?" And I just broke down in tears. And she was like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And I said, that was the best experience of my life. I mean, it was just great. And for anybody who is scared to sign up for Paragon, I've always heard that if it scares you but excites you at the same time, you need to do it. And so that's what got me through, is that yes, I'm scared, but I'm excited as well. And I just like, I need that motivation again. And so when I heard about this, heard about Paragon, I was like, yes, sign me up again. I'm going to do it again. And yeah, I probably won't go through the whole ninja thing. I might fall, but it's okay. It's okay.
And so Gloria, you're 67. 67. Yeah, that's right. I remember you were like a half a year older than me. That's right.
Yeah, graduated in 76, like you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's something I want to ask you. When did you go to 2 Paragons?
This one. No, I met you. I went back to your house for the dinner thing that you had that one time.
Right. That's right. That was fun.
Yeah.
What has life been like post Paragon for you?
Well, I tell you what, I have an 18 and a 15-year-old granddaughters, and the 18-year-old is a captain of the cheerleading squad. She's graduating this year. But I have a pegboard in my house, and they can't even do it. So they have this grandmother that's going up. Well, okay, I could go up maybe one peg, but still, it's just so cool to look at them, and they tell me, they say, "Wow, you're so buff." So much fun.
How many buff 67-year-old grandmothers are there? Like, somebody should make a bronze statue out of you, girlfriend. Like that's the cool. I think for me as a 66-year-old, like when I was in my 40s and 50s, I didn't think I was much of an anomaly. There were a lot of people who were kind of like me, whether they were my age or a little bit younger. But the older I get and the more that I can physically do, you and I and a handful of others who are in their 60s, who would never in a trillion years consider going to a Paragon thing with a ninja. Forget about it. Give me a lazy boy and a remote.
That's right. Yeah. And I know a lot of my friends are like that. And I know you say, find your tribe that's like-minded. It's hard for me to do that at my age. They're just like, you're crazy. I'm not doing that. So I have to hang out with 30-year-olds and 25-year-olds. And so I compare myself with that age group, which isn't a good thing. But
That's a very good thing.
Well, okay.
I got Michael, I got Brian. I mean, everybody's 20, 25 years younger than me.
That's right.
And we're all part of the same team. I don't like the numbers don't really mean anything, partly because I'm stronger than most of them on most things. except for actually Brian and Michael. Those are the two that are sort of beat me on something. Oh, you did. But you know what I mean?
So if there's anybody out there that's that's over the age of 50 and they're scared to sign up for Paragon, don't let that scare you. You're going to be amazed at what you can do.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that's not touched on about Paragon, and I don't know if it'll be touched on, but it has to be touched on. The food at Paragon is really good. Really good.
That's right.
Really good. So I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, well, we're at another.
We're hoping this
yeah.
will be too. This is a totally different facility, so.
Yeah. So we're making sure that, because we had total control over everything that was prepared. Like we knew all the restaurants and all the chefs and blah, blah, blah. We had people coming in and we had sussed them all out.
It's gonna be Burger King this year, right?
Burger King.
But you're gonna have it your way.
Yeah, great.
KFC, we're gonna have fried chicken for breakfast every morning.
I'm impressed Shauna knows the little jingle for Burger King. That's
It was
impressive.
just on the other day and I was
Sure it
made
was.
fun of it.
Yeah. It
Is
was just
that-
on when I was at Burger King. So
Exactly. When Ronald McDonald was, no, that's not Burger King. When the King.
Yeah, what was that? Well, yeah, Gloria, brilliantly. Well done. Thank you so much. John, you wanna rock and roll there, dude? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, can we try it again? I guess,
Yeah, you're
third
loud and
time.
clear. It's great.
So the audio and the lighting aren't my forte, so I'm definitely not in motion pictures. So the question was, has anyone done anything new since Paragon? And Paragon really it helped me understand my capabilities and what I'm capable of. And I know that's been mentioned before. And when I went to Paragon the first time, it was meeting Tony was a big part of it. And I worked out a lot and just wanted to meet my mentor and the person that showed me how to exercise and to get fit. And I lost over 30 pounds and everything like that. But going to Paragon, I really learned my capabilities. And since then, I've been running a lot of Spartan races. So, the ninja course that we did doing the salmon ladder, I had so much fun doing that. And I'm like, wow, this is great. I always watch Ninja Warrior with my kids and everything, but I never had a chance to try it. And trying it out, it was a blast. And so, just started looking at, things that were out there to do after Paragon. I was talking with Wes at Paragon, who, he does Spartan races. And so I started doing all these Spartan races here on the East Coast. And one of my big goals was to do a trifecta, and I wanted to do one at Big Bear Mountain. And so I actually signed up for the Big Bear Mountain one, which is May 17th. And then when Paragon came out and it's going to be May 10th, I'm like, right before, I'm like, well, this is perfect timing. So, I'm looking at this as an opportunity to go out there, enjoy Paragon again, learn new things, reinforce the old things, see some old friends, meet some new friends, and just have a lot of fun, and then prepare for this Spartan trifecta that I'm going to be doing at Big Bear the following week.
Wow, dude, what a fun little period for you.
Yeah, and I just hit a milestone birthday, so it's like a big part of my birthday celebration.
What was that? 50, 40?
50, yeah.
50. Nice, dude.
So I'm excited.
you don't look 50, John.
Thanks.
John, talk to the beginners that would be coming, like, folks that are a little bit afraid, and like, what would you tell those folks? Why would Paragon be good for folks who are just coming for the first time?
Yeah, it's a very, the Paragon Experience, it's a very open and inviting place where you can learn from people, you can be relaxed and just do your best. As Tony says, do your best, forget the rest. And that's really what the mantra is. And, you find out what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you could, possibly get better at. And it's just really laid back, and it's a lot of fun. And it just opens up so many doors for you. It gave me so many ideas for fitness after coming back from Paragon, just doing different things. And I have a pegboard in my basement now. The obstacle course that we did, I mimicked that with the kids in the backyard, and it was fun. And you go for the fun and for the experience and for the awesome people that you're going to meet and the friends that you're going to make.
Brilliant. You know, another thing that, and you kind of touched upon it, talking about your kids. I can't tell you how many people, whether it's P90X or Powerful or Paragon or whatever it is, a lot of people just say, I am such a better parent than I used to be. You know, I'm so much more enthusiastic. I have skills and things that I can share with my kids that I couldn't do before. When before I was just sort of embarrassed about where I was. And then now, you know, these kids see that, and, you know, kids just, they want to mimic who you are. So if you're kind of overweight and struggling and kind of sad and depressed a lot, well, then, you know, you're not much of an influence on your children. But post Paragon and you know, whatever your fitness journey is, really, you're just a much better parent. It sounds to me that you're sharing what you know with your kids, which, you know,
Absolutely
going to carry on for generations, man. That's beautiful stuff, John.
Yeah, I have both my daughters are in cheerleading, and they're very strong and active and flexible. And a lot of the stuff, you know, I you know, put on the Power Nation videos. I'm like, you know, you can follow this stuff. My daughter did drop pulse hold with me, and she's like, oh my gosh, that is so hard. So
yeah, that's a good one, man.
kicked your butt.
That's a good one. We still have Garrett and Matthew and Mary. I think everybody else.
And you know what? Josie popped on. She's been to Paragon.
And
too.
Bev is I can't see Bev, but I think she's there. So anybody who hasn't gone, John, well done. Thank you, man. Good stuff.
Good night, everyone.
Looking forward to
Thank
seeing
you
you all.
so much.
I'll
Can't
see
wait
you
to see
all
you, John.
soon. Take
Yep.
care.
Yep.
All right, bye. Who else?
I was just coming to listen, so I didn't know you were going to have me say anything, but
No, we expect some brilliant stuff out of you, Mary. So
I'm
I
glad
heard
that
you were
we.
going to sing. Actually, Mary, are you going to sing or?
Oh yeah, la.
Okay.
So I'm glad we got the lighting and the sound for John, because dang, what a story. So since I went to Paragon in 2021, and it was kind of the Power Nation Paragon, because you had started Power Nation, and almost everyone there had been in Power Nation, and I literally made a couple of my very best friends at Paragon, Tracy Keyson and Marika. And I have this little quote here that Tracy gave each of us at one point. It says, some people arrive and make such a beautiful impact on your life, you can barely remember what life was like without them. And that's what Paragon was. Like coming together and meeting, you know, obviously meeting Shauna.
Here's the highlight.
Oh, but meeting you and all your buddies that are kind of now my buddies, workout buddies. I just felt very welcomed. And as a beginner, I really was afraid. I was afraid of a lot of different things. The jumping over obstacles, the obstacle course, I was certain I was going to trip and fall and hit my face. And so I would practice at home and, oh my God, how high is it going to be? And I could do it, you know. And then, of course, the rope, I was certain that I would fall to my death from the top of the rope. And I was having nightmares about it, literally. I was so afraid. But my turn came and I made it up, you know, and I got maybe 3/4 of the way. I'm like, I think I'm good. I'm good here. And you told me, go once more, Mary. And I went to the top. I didn't get to I couldn't reach the bell, but you said, put your finger on the top of that. And I did that. And it was just such a moment of doing something that you thought you're going to die doing, and you didn't die. You know, life went on, and just I learned so much. I don't have my notebook here, but I had so many notes in my notebook, and I go through it every once in a while, and like it's just a pick me up of you're surrounded by people who are like you, trying to get more physically fit and trying to get stronger. And so everybody is your friend. And it is like a reunion, even the first day, because everybody is trying to do the same stuff. So it is, it's quite a group. And since Paragon, I ran a couple 5Ks. I did a mud run, actually with Wes Silvestri. I did a mud run one time, and I climbed Half Dome. I made it to the base of the cables, but there was a storm coming and the ranger left. So I thought, maybe I'll leave at this point. I'll come back another time. But that idea of challenging yourself is an outcome of Paragon Super Camp. It's it's amazing. I don't want anybody to hesitate to come. It is such a big thing in your life that you haven't done yet, and you just deserve that.
Well, the one thing, as somebody who knows you very well, Mary, and watching your journey from the get-go, just watching you in plyo, I mean, it's like you don't even have a pain threshold at plyo. I don't know how, and you're like me, you're not a kid, and you just crushed that, which is heart, lungs, legs, balance, stamina. It's a hit workout. It's one of the hardest workouts that I have at my house, and you go through it like it's nothing. And then, of course, on yoga day, when you come to yoga, you crush yoga too. And you've had health issues like anybody. I mean, I had mine back in 2017, and you just overcome. You've just your tenacity and your work ethic and your determination and all that I can't stuff. You've just completely turned that off. And whatever fear and trepidations you've had, I don't see those anymore. And if they're as a result of Paragon and hanging out with Brian Palatucci and some of the kids on certain days of the week, it's just fun. It's really fun to see how far you've come. And
but somebody mentioned fluffiness or whatever. 2024 was a pretty difficult year for me, and I have gained maybe 5-7 pounds. So I am on a return journey, and you're up in Jackson Hole and away, and I'm not doing plyo. So it's going to be a bad day that first Wednesday.
Well, when I was away for that 6 weeks, when I came back, I've learned you don't try to get through that whole thing. That's just a big. So we have these plyo. So instead of 30 reps, it's 15. Instead of whatever, we cut the reps in half or whatever. So that first day back, I go, oh, that was super mellow. I mean, we mellowed it out. Couldn't walk for 5 days. Doing a mellowed version of it. And then by the third week, did the whole dang thing. And then we did our hill sprints. So the human body is incredibly resilient. And I think what's going to happen to a lot of people, and you've touched upon it, when they come to Paragon, they're not only going to find out what they're capable of, but their whatever limits they've put on themselves are going to just disappear. And they're going to find, and one thing that we always try to emphasize is just making sure that people are not overdoing it, not overtraining, not pushing too hard, like knowing when to back off. And that, Michael's great at that. Brian's great at that. If Andy Lawrence is there, he's not good at that, but don't talk to him. He's just like, he's the ultimate mesomorph, man. The guy just looks at him, gets jacked. I don't think he's ever been hurt either. So he's just an extraordinary person. I digress. But, that's another piece of it, like learning how to train properly so that you don't go 3 weeks or 4 weeks because of some nagging injury.
Right. And Paragon teaches you that it's amazing to be around so many people who really just want to get after it. And it makes you level up a little bit. And that doesn't mean that you have to, or you're scorned if you can't do something, but just encouraging to be around such people at a certain level that you maybe want to get to. And it's so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah. I mean, we always talk about finding the kind of people who inspire and motivate you so that you do push harder, so that you do level up. Like I was chasing this guy that was, at a 23,000 foot peak a week ago. It's like chasing a mountain goat down the mountain all day. And I would have never gone that hard, that fast, all flipping day. Both my quads locked up at the end. We're going to have one more run. I went, nope, I don't have no more quads. I got to go inside. But you know what I mean? Like you just learn from these experiences. You learn how tough and strong you are. Which just opens up your world, like your world has opened up, Mary. So awesome stuff. Matthew or Josie or Garrett. Garrett, why don't you go? Because you can.
And Josie, if you get a chance, a little more light on your face would be great too. Oh, Dan McCourt just showed up.
Dan, take me about 10 more minutes. Dan McCourt.
I have a Dan McCourt story. I wouldn't have come to Paragon if it hadn't been for Dan McCourt.
Really?
Yeah, there was like one spot left or something, or no spots left. Somehow, what was the story, Dan? You got to tell it. He encouraged me to go. And then I think because he didn't, that's right, he was gonna sign up, but he had already been, he decided not to, and he encouraged me to take that spot. So I took the last spot because of Mr. Dan McCord.
Wow.
Well done.
Yeah, it was. So the story was that Mary was on the fence and she was trying to understand the journey that, and sorry for the darkness here.
Yeah, dude, you look like you're on the witness protection program.
Yeah, there we go. Well, hey, that's just another Tuesday, brother.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. You're back. You're there. Oh, the light's getting better by the second. Well done.
Yeah.
Um,
So Mary was on the fence, but not necessarily from Mary, you weren't concerned about going. It was more along the lines of what could you really share with everyone in your world at the time to justify the expense, to make sure that there was a real understanding of this. Because remember, at the time, we were all working out very remotely. Tony was this epic figure, maybe on Mount Rushmore of workouts. And, are you really connected to him? Is this really a thing? And yes, it's a real thing. There were benefits. And I shared with you the benefits that I had personally, relationship wise, health wise. And, thank God that landed and brought you into the Paragon world. And then we got connected personally after that. It was great.
Yeah, me up there in Mount Rushmore with Suzanne Summers and Autumn Calabrese. There we were. Well, Dan, you're not done, but I kind of got Garrett revved up, so we're going to come back.
Oh yeah, no, go Garrett.
In here, dude. It's good to see your face. And I haven't said Dan McCall. It's been a long, long time. So before this call's out, you're going to get a four-minute version of it. Garrett, why don't you rock and roll, dude?
Well, I have not got to go to Paragon yet, so I was coming here to absorb and listen to all the cool stories because everything I've heard about it has been so fantastic. My hope is to go this year if the finances align and all that sort of stuff, but it's a long shot for. I'm not one of those private jet preachers. I'm one of those regular preachers, so finances are always a struggle. But if it works out, that'd be great because one of the days of Paragon is my birthday. So I was thinking it'd be a good birthday present to myself if it works out. But just all the cool stories I hear about Paragon and just how much people get out of it and transform through it, not just physically, but the mental, emotional aspect as well is something that's super cool that I'm hoping to be able to participate in because even as wonderful and amazing as I am, I need a boost too. Need that help as well. So
yeah, you've gotten a few Paragons at my house though already. So
yes, I've had the in-person
if you
experience.
Could, let's assume that you're coming.
Yeah.
And if you could just sort of say, look, I haven't been to Paragon, but I'm excited about coming because blah blah blah. I mean, you kind of already did, but
yeah,
because there are a vast majority of people that would be attending. It'll be their first time. And, you can talk about, hey, this will be my first one and what yada, yada, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The reason why Paragon seems like such an exciting opportunity is being able to break through some of those barriers that we have, some of those mental, physical barriers to achieving the things that we know that we can or hope that we can. But getting a little push from someone that believes in you and is willing to see what you are capable of and giving you that little nudge over the edge seems like the great value that I've seen in Paragon of people like pushing you over the threshold to something even better. And that's what I'm hoping to get. If all the stars align and I can go, that's what I'm hoping for.
Dude, I hope so. I'd love to see you there, man. It'd be fun. Really fun. Yeah. And by the way, your presence alone, you'll have a great impact on other folks, because while you're in the midst of experiencing all these things, you're as good as anybody as far as expressing it and what you're feeling and what's going on with you. And I think a lot of people are going to really be inspired by you and motivated just by you being there, man. So that would be fun to have you there.
Yes, sir.
I see Gary's here too. Look at that.
Is there anyone with a time constraint that would like to speak now and needs to before they have to jump off?
I'll go. I didn't realize I'd be talking, but since we're having this, then yeah. Thank you so much. It's so good to see all of you actually, And yeah, I had such a wonderful time at Paragon. I mean, it was, again, first of all, the biggest thing was like meeting Tony after, seeing all the videos and working out with him online. But going there and meeting everybody else and finding that community, even if it's people that I was meeting for the first time, they felt like old friends. And I'm just so happy that, like, even when we haven't been in touch as much, it's always like going back to your family when you see them again. And surprising myself with things that either I didn't think I'd be able to do, or surpassing maybe something that I'm already into. And now that's gotten me to continue that mindset. So I tried boxing like a really long time ago, and I always wanted to get back into it because I just loved the whole workout of it. But I never really thought I would get into sparring. And so now I'm doing that, and it's something that's super scary. And the first time I did it, I like totally cried and I felt so embarrassed. And, then another time I got like, you actually get punched, and it brings out a lot of emotions. But it's like, but it was, I think without the Paragon experience of pushing myself to an uncomfortable place, I wouldn't have been as open to do something like that. Like, so far from the yogi self that is me.
That's a big jump. Yeah, man. That's impressive. Like, we have our friend Carson, who's been in some of the Power Nation workouts, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna take a boxing class. Now she's a professional boxer. You know what I mean? She shows up with black and blue eyes all the time, and she's amazing. Like, so good for you. I know you're the yogi, and you're also doing martial arts and getting hit. That's either end of the spectrum right there. And and Paragon was part of that growth. That's cool. Yeah.
And the other, and there was the other one too was just since we're talking about things that we're trying, is I do climbing as well, and I went to the next level and started lead climbing. And lead climbing is when you actually are putting the rope onto the next point, and that also is really scary. And you're also in charge of like somebody else when you're the belayer. And I teach yoga at a climbing gym, but I never really thought I would go to that next level. But from the, again, kind of push from other people, and also just hearing Tony and others in the, nation kind of camp going like, do your best and, go for it. I was like, all right, that's something that I can try. And
that mindset shift of to all right, I'm gonna climb. So there's a top roping, so you have to get certified for that, right? You can't just go and do it, because if somebody's gonna top rope, you have to be someone's gonna belay, and then belaying another climber lead wise is another level of skill. So there's all these things in your quiver of fitness that so you're having more experiences. You're doing cooler things. You're getting, Charlie's going bat crap over here. He wants to play with that toy. You got to put that in the shelf, honey. That's no way. So good for you, Josie. That's really cool, man.
Thank you for the motivation and just helping us to open ourselves up to more experiences.
I mean, fitness is funny that way. It'll completely shift your life in 15 directions. All I'm trying to do is lose some weight here, man. And now you're climbing. You're doing some boxing, martial arts. Same thing for me. I mean, it's opened up my world tremendously. And so it's fun to be able to share that with everybody at Paragon. And there's going to be a whole lot of people. Yeah, it's going to be fun to have that reunion with all of you. That's going to be just a blast, and then meeting other people. Like, there's for sure some of you are going to meet some of your new best friends, and that's what it's all about. There's all these statistics of how most people after high school or college just stop making new friends, right? And so that world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And unless all their friends are ice climbers and skiers and mountain bikers, whatever. But if their friends are, living kind of a small life, and you're not really open to meeting new people, and that's what this event is about. It's like it forces you to meet new people, and then you make those connections, and then you have all these experiences that you would never have otherwise. It's just kind of magical like that. So you've had that experience, Josie. So, and then there's Jason Stuckmeyer in the corner on my screen. Gorgeous. Matthew, Dan,
Hey, Tony,
Jason.
I'm having Wi-Fi issues. Can I go while I'm still on Wi-Fi?
Yeah, who's that?
Gary.
Hi, Gary. Go for it, Bubba.
Hey, I'm a Paragon grad, and I went with Lou. We had a great time, but you know, I have my Paragon book that I took notes in, and I open it up, and my second entry in here is important. Who do you love? Why do you love them? And what do you love? And I want to let you, my very last entry in my Paragon book were 3 words, and these 3 words are the essence of my Paragon experience. And I wrote joy, happiness, and laughter. And that pretty much summed up my Paragon experience. Aside from the wonderful fitness, meeting people like Lou, but I looked at that last entry and said, yes, that's Paragon experience. Right.
Gary, I don't know about everybody else, but you're breaking up, dude. It was glorious. But joy, happiness, and laughter.
But I love everything you said. We might have to refilm this.
Yeah, because that was really. And by the way, especially talking about having your book and the first day and the last day, and you know, I mean, that's that. You know, look, I got to do your best. Forget the rest. The more you do, the better you get. Da, 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 don't smash your face. Whatever I said.
Oh wait, can you hear me now?
Go ahead, say it again.
Yeah. Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, sort of. Yes.
You kind of froze, but.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that. My last entry, the last thing I wrote at that camp were joy.
Here's what we heard, Gary. Here's what we heard. I don't know if you can hear us. The most important, critical thing I've ever. I wrote down. So it's like
I'm having internet
hanging on every weird syllable. Well, I want to come back to you, dude, or refilm it another time because you're about this big and hard to hear.
Well, hey, if you want me to refilm it, I will.
Okay, I think we heard that. How about you, Matthew? You want to rock and roll, dude?
Yeah, sure. Like I think someone said earlier, that this will be my first Paragon experience.
Yeah, we would love to hear your feelings about that.
Okay. So one more, I'll do one more time.
It's not working.
Gary still?
Gary's not giving up.
Gary, you gotta
you're gonna have to mute.
You're gonna have to mute, Gary, because it's you're on the dark side of the moon, bro. Gary, somebody let Gary know that we can't hear Gary.
We had to sacrifice Gary.
Gary, come back though. Somebody write Gary.
He won't see it if he's not on.
Oh, that's true. Rats. Dang it. Because Gary's always got something good to say. Matthew, as a first timer, somebody who's anticipating and maybe a little bit nervous about all this, where's your head at as far as
excited actually. I think I signed up back in October before the Shauna interviews, I guess. I heard about that the other day. It's looking forward to meeting the people that I've seen on all the videos through Power Nation. So that's kind of exciting that that's all in the works. And mainly one thing I've always struggled with is nutrition and really getting a better understanding of that. So I heard that was part of the experience also. So understanding what that entails.
Very much so. We have some speakers that are going to have the potential to blow your mind. And I'll talk about it too, my own way, my experience, and you learn from me as well.
Yeah.
You and 99.999% of the planet, most. The food thing is the big conundrum. It's the reason why we get in shape and get out of shape, because we can't control our own mouth and hands. And so there's going to be a lot of good intel for you there, Matt.
I've been with Power Nation since beta 3, I think. So I think it's been a good 3 years now. So, and then since then I've also joined a local gym and have been using personal trainer there to also assist with that. So
Yeah.
it's been a strong 3 years for me, but
Yeah, there's no doubt in our mind and anybody else who's been there that you're going to come away, you know, probably like Gloria, just get in the car, and start bawling in front of somebody. You know what I mean? And yeah, there's a lot of positive emotion that flies around. Joy, happiness, and laughter, man. I mean, even though poor Gary got cut off there, he hit gold. That's, you know, I've always said if your life isn't filled with those three things on a daily basis, then there's something you're not doing right. And exercise, you know, because you've done beta 3 and you got a trainer now and you're going to a gym, and these are, you know, these are decisions that pop into people's heads. You know, or choices that pop in people's heads, but they just don't make them, and you have. And so, and you're going to meet all the, like this handful of people on the screen here. You're going to meet these folks, and it's life altering. You know, it's good stuff. Anything else you wanted to add? Just sorry to cut you off.
no, that's fine. No, I was not kind of excited, not only necessarily how it affects fitness, but also personal, how it affects personal relationships that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. I feel like that's all part, like you feel better about yourself, you feel better about the people you work with, you feel better about the people you live with. So I think it's all hand in hand.
I mean, when it gets to my seminar, it's good. I'm going to touch about fitness. I'm going to touch about that, but I talk a lot about relationships. I talk a lot about, you know, Tracy Morrow's whole thing, you know, and so, yeah, oh, great. Well, I'm going to just basically copy Tracy's whole speech. I'm going to do it in Spanish just to make it more fun. Yeah, there's all these other things, like what are your levels of joy? Well, how much anger do you have in your life? You know, where do you struggle? And if you've got all kind of this negative energy, you know, when you're surrounded by, you know, finger pointers and naysayers and wannabes, and all their negative crap, like, you know, how do you make those decisions to sort of put those people aside and start searching for other folks? And the folks, the one thing about this event is there's going to be dozens and dozens of people who are going to be living the lifestyle that you ultimately want to live, you know, and most of their lives are filled with joy, happiness, and laughter. And we all have our stuff. I mean, Sean and I, you know, we struggle too, especially since, you know, post Beachbody, it's been, you know, it's been work.
Yeah.
And, but how do you, you know, how does exercise and eating right? I mean, it's all about brain chemistry, you know, I mean, it's really, and breath work. And, you know, I mean, I don't know if anybody saw that piece on ABC News that I was surprised popped up, because I never had an interview with ABC News. So they stole it from something, a podcast or something. You know what I mean? The whole thing was about recovery and rest and mindfulness, and how that's, if you don't have that, then you're building more walls as opposed to more bridges when it comes to living this lifestyle long term. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. It's not a temporary thing. You know, Beachbody was all about before and after pictures and giving somebody a check. You know what I mean? And I don't think they touched enough upon, you know, the importance of consistency and surrounding yourself with the right kind of people and having the right kind of plan, and turning all this into a permanent priority one lifestyle. And that's what Paragon's about. So, you know, we all get a little fluffy, you know, a little bit. At least that's what I hear. I don't know.
You've had chunks once or twice.
I've had a chunk or two.
And it also happens to be my 40th birthday in May, so that's another target. So
Right on.
Yeah, good. Those are
Another
important.
birthday.
Chunks. So Sean and I are in Rhode Island, and we're in a bathroom at a hotel, and it has mirrors, you know, on either side. And I don't see my backside very often. And I look in the mirror and I go, what the hell are these? And Shauna goes, oh, those are your chunks. So yeah, they do come and go.
He said, what do you mean? You already have a name for them? I go, yeah. He goes, how long have these been here? I said, long time. He goes, oh, this just won't do. So he decides he's going to cut out all sugar, no more desserts, no more chocolate, no more nothing. And I'm sitting on the couch and I'm eating those salty bites. They don't make them anymore. The Hue chocolate salty bites.
They make them. What do you mean?
Not the salty ones, or I haven't seen them. Anyway,
Oh.
has nothing to do with the story.
Story.
But I hand the bag over and I say, honey, would you like some chocolate?
So it's been chocolate ever since. Chocolate. Yeah. By the way, post this trip in the 6 weeks, between the stress of the fires, skiing, and shoveling more snow than I have in 3 years, my chunks disappeared. And I have skinny. Brian, I showed up for the workouts at home, and I was weak. But
I was gonna say, did you get your annual Snickers bar?
yeah, that's right. Every time John and I travel and we hit a gas station, the little ones, Christmas. Anyway, Dan, Jason, there's Gary. He's going to give it another try. I can feel it, Gary. Hold on, dude. Hold on. Joy, happiness, and laughter. We hope that this time it's going to work. Matthew, thank you, dude, very much for that. We're excited to see you, dude. Have you already signed up? Is that a yes? Yeah.
Yeah, he said he did.
Oh,
He said
good.
he said
Yeah,
he
yeah. I signed up back in October of
Yeah.
last year or something like that.
before the Shauna interview. And just so y'all know, there's no Shauna interview anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a long story, but the way we had the payment structure set up and this and that, and David wasn't able to get certain things to work. So I said, let's just go back to old school and have him fill out a form, and I'll just call everybody. But we got everything figured out. So nobody has to do that anymore.
Yeah. So no interview, no interview again. So hopefully folks will still sign up, because I mean, I'd talk to Shauna. That would get me going. Dan McCourt, ready, set, go.
I don't like talking a lot, so I don't have many words. Kidding. Kidding. No, so my Paragon experience, same thing. Absolutely terrified. Went in. It was COVID. There was 16 of us. It was a really small class. I have every one of my classmates, in my phone. Group text anytime we need to reach out to each other. Dawn is one of my classmates. Still very connected. Great thing. Relationship building, meeting people of like minds who are, or also of different minds, but are on the same journey. That's the most special part of it. And then also going in, challenging myself, realizing all of the areas that I needed to grow, which I took to heart, and I brought it back. Lost 30 pounds. Went through lots of life events, and it was because of the lessons that I learned at Paragon and through Power Nation that really helped me go through some just normal health things but if I was on the course, if I stayed on the course that I was on before Paragon, they would have been very, very different outcomes. Without a doubt, doctors, if you didn't lose the weight, if you didn't control what you were doing, if you weren't as consistent with your workouts and your nutrition, we'd be having a very different and negative conversation. So, and it was because of that specifically. And, the food, honestly, I copied the menu that Shauna had put together for Paragon, and I ate what we ate at Paragon. I brought that home and I ate what I ate there. And of course, I listened to Melissa, and, did I need to have that third cookie? No. In fact, I didn't have more than 2 cookies. I mean, I took so many lessons away. My notebook is full. It's crazy, but it's not just me. It's impacted the people that are around me as well. They see the change, I share the change, and then we live the change. And it's been a great experience for me. So life-changing, hands down. One of the most life-changing things that I've ever done for myself.
We'll use that. Thank you, Dan. Again, first timers, what would you tell them?
Oh, embrace the fear. It's not nearly as scary as you might think, because I was terrified, but when you show up, the camaraderie, everybody is there for the same thing. And of course, you're going to be wherever you are in the scale of levels of fitness. It's not about that. It's not about that for anyone there. Just the conversations that I've had, just the small ones with Michael or with Scott or with Steve, those small moments are worth every dime when you come out and you show up, because they're the ones that make the biggest impact, and they're the ones that you take away. But sure, the seminars, if you want to show up and you want to change your mind, change your life, change your health, change your fitness, there's no amount of fear is worth giving that up.
Good.
Yeah.
Another.
Yeah.
Nice one, Dan.
Who do we have left? We have Jason and
We have Jason and Gary
is going to try again. Okay.
Version 2.
Yeah, and then I'd love to hear from Brian and Michael.
Yeah, me too.
On their take and tell about what they're going to do and what to expect and why they're going and all that.
Yeah, we lost Gary again, though. Bummer. I hope he'll be back.
We'll go jump on Jason. Take it away.
And Jason, you've had a hell of a story, man.
Yeah, you do.
You're just you really have.
Yeah, so usually I'm pretty pre-planned in everything I do. Had some commitments before tonight, so I decided to hop on and just join in. So joined the early phases of Power Nation. At that point, I was dealing with a lot of opportunities at work, but it was a lot of long hours. And instead of kind of reading a book on workaholism, which was hard to focus long enough to get into the pages of that, what really helped me correct through that journey was joining Power Nation with a community of individuals that had similar values, and to correct a lot of things through exercise, nutrition, understanding of yourself. And that helped me in that journey. And I thought, well, okay, hey, I'll get fit. It's about fitness or other things. There's some emotional things that come up in your life that you didn't realize that you were dealing with. So there were some breakthroughs there, as I had always struggled to put on much weight, had always been a skinny figure. And through those early phases, I was committed to doing my best and got into the best shape of my life. But being around others was still uncomfortable, being an introvert in most of those cases. So I was trying to decide, do I go to Paragon or not? There's moments where it sounded neat and exciting, but there's those voices in the back of your head that just tell you why not to do things. But being surrounded by this group of individuals, there was a night, I think after one of a Zoom call with Tony or others, and I was just feeling good enough, and I went ahead and submitted my application to come out. Again, still terrified, never been to California, didn't do much traveling. My identity was essentially associated with work. Very nervous when I got there, but you're around individuals that are looking to become better. You're around individuals that are connected around Tony Horton and what he teaches, and it by far became one of the most rewarding experiences, through having cracks in my voice, the introduction and others, to just feeling like you're around family or friends that you've known forever, even though you've only met people for a few days. Definitely surprised myself physically in those endeavors. But you saw a lot of transformational moments where people thought they were there for one thing, and just being in that environment, something else comes out. Towards the end, what is the one thing that you're taking away from this or focusing on? And when you talk it through and you break it down with others, you might be surprised that something you've been afraid of actually isn't that scary. And now you've got the accountability with others to make those changes. So for me, it was really a turning point moment at that point. Really glad I did it. The hesitancy was there, and I think it's going to be there for a lot of people, but don't look at it for the short term. You're going to have a good experience, and you've got many years ahead of you in your life to reap those benefits. So much has happened since then. Each month or year, there's new opportunities that come up, and a lot of good things can come even after the fact. So that's kind of my take on the early moments. Since then, there's a lot of things that I didn't do, but Tony has a yoga and ski retreat. I've never skied in my life. Joined that, learned from the best, great at fitness, but also great at teaching skiing. So done that for several years. We have a hill in St. Louis. It's not really a mountain, but joined that this year and just continued working on skills, and actually found the most enjoyable moments where when somebody was struggling because they fell or couldn't get their ski back on, to go help them. I joined a rock climbing gym recently, was scared of heights, but made a nice group of friends there locally, and taught one of them that hadn't skied in 28 years because she had a bad experience, but you're learning a lot of things, you're helping yourselves, but you're turning around and you're helping others. So there's benefits that, what was it, 4 years ago when I went to the first Paragon, there's new things that are happening. Work has been tough again, and the fitness has been up and down. I was going to be back in the best shape of my life in 2 months, and now it's going to be a stretch to get there, but it's a good push. But work's been a challenge, and last week and a half ago, I heard my boss was leaving for another opportunity, which presents challenge and things. Don't always consider myself to want to be one of those front people, but it just felt like the timing was right. I interviewed for his position, and last Thursday I was offered his position. So I'm in the top role at our local company. I'm very analytical. I know a lot of things, and you think that's where you need to apply, and some of the nerves and things come back. But to me, this is my opportunity to learn and shine as a leader and to teach others. And it's not necessarily going to be about the engineering task and others. That'll be sprinkled in there. But what people are looking for is community, shared experiences, learning, growing together, winning together. You got to find your fitness tribe that you can connect with to do, but it's in the same areas and other areas of your life, be it your family or even at work. So the benefits you can get from networking with Tony, his network of friends that are just such great resources and knowledge bases, and those of us that follow him, is immense, and it will give you benefits long beyond that one event. Maybe it seems expensive, maybe it seems out of your comfort zone, but I encourage you, if you're on the fence, don't miss out on that opportunity. You don't know how often you'll get that. And from my experience and those others here, you will see that and be thanking yourself years into the future.
Boom.
Wow. Amazing. I'm so proud of you, Jason.
Yeah,
You've
dude.
come so
Yeah.
far.
Your journey continues to rock, man. I mean, it's a really, really amazing to see what you've been able to accomplish and where you're going and where you're headed, yeah, being good at your gig and being pretty fit, those are pretty good categories, but be able to lead others, that's next level, man. You didn't have to, you could have said no to that. I mean, but you did not, which says a lot about you, dude.
Yeah, and I get to reapply those tools all over again. So it's kind of Groundhog Day in some regards, but you know when the stress is going, when you're not sleeping well, and all of a sudden, okay, let's get into the breath work. Are you recognizing you need a cardio session to burn off some of that cortisol? Or, hey, here's that reminder, you gotta, keep up your healthy eating routines. So it's good. The toolbox is here, and that's leaving me less fearful for what's in front of me.
Yeah. What's cool about you, and I think a lot of people who go through Paragon, and certainly my experience, is that, when you're beginning to make this shift in your life, oh, I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to cut back on the alcohol. I think I'm going to cut out the sugar. Maybe I'll start walking. You know what I mean? A lot of people get sort of so far, and they've got some pretty decent tools in the box. But if you don't want to keep pushing and learning and growing and transforming and adding more tools, then there's a likelihood that you'll, 3 or 4 tools is not going to build a house. You know what I mean? You need, you need all of it. You need the martial arts, you need the mindfulness, you need the yoga, you need the resistance, you need the HIIT training, you need the cardio, you need the all the mindfulness recovery and rest stuff. You need the better friends. You know what I mean? Like there's a crap load of stuff that you have to figure out. But the more tools you have, there's a much, much greater likelihood. And you're the perfect example, dude, of constantly advancing physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You know what I mean? Like you're constantly moving forward. You're not getting younger, but you're still getting better. And that's what we're trying to do here at Paragon. You know what I mean? Just sharing it with, and that can, like, to get all that in 4 days, it might be a little overwhelming, but at least you have more tools in your quiver, in your toolbox, so that there's a greater likelihood that you can, be more consistent with your food. I mean, you look at diet alone or whatever, it's 3 to 5 times a day. You got to make good decisions. You know what I mean? Like, oh, breakfast, oh, a snack, oh, lunch, oh, a snack, oh, dinner. Oh, what's happening between dinner and when I go to bed? What should I do? Should I not eat? Should I have some berries? Or can I have that chocolate sundae? Because that's what I've always known. My family's always had it. My great grandfather had that. I want that, And how do you, like, those shifts are a bear, just a bear. But the few of us that figure it out, our lives are so much better. I'm chasing some guy down a mountain all day that last week was at 23,000 feet with his, where'd you start? Well, we started in Kathmandu and walked up to base camp at Everest. Okay. I mean, think about that guy's life. I thought I was cool, but he's like 50 times cooler than I am, but he's a new friend. And so Sean and I are going to climb the Grand by this time next fall. She doesn't know that yet. Anyway,
just Tony.
Come on, girlfriend. Shauna blew out her knee. You know what I mean? She tore her ACL. So is she fired up to get out on that mountain? Not so much, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll get a sunny day out there. We'll get her out there and make some turns. Because when you get out there,
I did it again last year, but then I tweaked my knee again.
Yeah. Right. So two trips, 2 tweaked knees. Yeah, let me jump out there. There's all kinds of events with family, events at work, events physically, injuries and stuff that a lot of people, and they get to a certain age and go, well, I'm 50. I guess it's just time to chill. You know what I mean? I don't know. And for some people, hey, that's the right decision. They just don't have the genetics or the right people around them to kind of get past those tough points. So we're all going to learn about that, and during this week. I don't see Gary anymore. I think he
gave up on us.
He's passing around the dark side of the moon right now. He's in that capsule.
Well, let's talk to Brian and Michael. If Michael didn't leave us too.
Yeah, I think he's
he
still
might
there.
be dealing with children.
Yeah, he's got children.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just I have some threats from some small children, but I can jump on when you want me to talk. So.
Well, you can do more children stuff now if you like, if you need to. Brian, why don't you get on and kind of talk a little bit about, I mean, you're going to be one of my, I don't know who else. I don't know if Andy's going to come or Scott. I know Scott Morgan's going to come, but kind of as a support team / Power Nation trainer. And we haven't given you all your duties yet. So I don't know, what do you?
Well, he'll definitely be helping people across the ninja course. I mean, he knows every single event, everything, people could use help with their form, or Tony's going to need somebody to demonstrate things on stage. And of course, I'm always going to need somebody to carry something. So, we got plenty for you to do.
Well, the reason why, I mean, Brian, whether people know this or not, he's truly one of my closest friends in the world. I mean, I absolutely love this man. His wife thinks it's just bizarre. I mean, I tell Brian that I love him every time I see him. I just look at him, you know how much I love you, right? Because he's become a mini me. No, which means I'm a narcissist and how much I love myself. But the one great thing about Brian is, I mean, he's hilarious and he's brilliant. I mean, he's a very smart guy. And I think of anybody that I know in my circle, he walks the walk as much or better than anybody. Like when he gets new intel, he applies it and then he pushes the envelope as far as he can. To get the most out of any and every experience. I mean, he's not a skier, but I've dragged him out here to Jackson Hole a couple of times, and Jackson Hole's not exactly known for its green and blue runs, but because of his curiosity and his athleticism, the level of his experience is just so much better than people who are scared to death and overweight and eating cookies. You know what I mean? So what's great about Brian, he's just a phenomenal resource, partly because he can articulate himself so well. If I'm busy and I'm doing something, he's my number 2 guy. I mean, Steve Holmson has his stuff. Michael obviously has, his expertise because he's, certified 15 different ways, or maybe it's 17 now. He's got like 5 certifications on how to breathe, for God's sakes, but Brian is just really good at, and, for those of you that have been to Paragon, you've experienced his gentle approach, unlike mine sometimes. And anyway, what did you want to add to
I don't think I need to add anything. That was pretty good. No, yes, I will be there supporting in any way I can. Happy to have a one-on-one conversation with anyone that has questions, or if I see something that I think I can add to, that's what I'm there to do. What I'm hearing from a lot of folks is it touches on something that I've come to believe almost grudgingly ever since I think I met Tony, and that's the power of yes, which I've talked about to some folks before, but just the power of saying yes to things that you don't know if you can do it, or you're scared to do it, or you don't think it's for you, but you say yes to it, and it turns into an opportunity, and it turns into a gift that you've been given, and you open it and you experience it, and it only leads to more opportunities and more gifts and more experiences. And that really, that power of yes got me to where I am fitness wise and and life wise. But I'm hearing that a lot from a lot of the folks here, and I've seen that happen at Paragon, where someone just doesn't think they can climb the rope, but they say, yes, all right, I'm going to try, I'm going to do it, I'm going to get on the pegboard, I'm going to, whatever it is. It's just that first step. That first step is saying, yes, I'm going to try it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it a shot, whatever it is. And so I'm going to be there to support that. I'm going to be there to make sure that people are saying yes and not saying no. Or they're saying yes and not yes, but. I just want people to know that they can try things and they can experience things, and I can help them.
And to add to what Brian was saying, and the whole yes thing, I mean, Jim Carrey ruined that with his movie, but it was a funny movie and it made a good point. But I know that it sounds almost too simplistic, but once you say yes, who are the people around you to show you the way? You know what I mean? And there's a million different ways, not a million, but there are dozens of different ways to do different things. And everybody has their own series of steps. Some people have a short learning curve. Some people have a longer one. You can ask anybody in my sphere. I have a very long learning curve. I am typically horrible at almost everything. And my learning curve goes on and on and on. And all of a sudden, my little, as the Japanese would say, my satori happens not within the first week, not within the second, not within the third. It's like week 7 or 8 or 9. Like look at the lever. Everybody, there's levers in P90X too. I apologize. But the lever took me 4 months to learn how to do one. And Chuck Gaylord, 9-time All-American, we got down to the beach with Bobby in the old days, and guys were picking it up in the 3rd and 4th week. And by the 5th and 6th week, I was the only one that couldn't do it. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to do pull-ups. I don't like this exercise. No, Mr. No. And then, I'd show up on Sundays and everybody's doing this. And I'm like, "Grr, grr." And so, Chuck just pulled me on the side. I go, dude, I need to learn this. It took me long. Like my learning curve is long. But when you say yes, and you've got Michael, and you've got Brian, and you've got me, and you've got Jesse Graff and others, and we'll show you the little steps. And so your yes, and our direction, our strategies, techniques, methods might lead you to failure anyway. You know what I mean? It did for me for 4 months on a silly lever, but my curiosity was piqued because I was watching people who were less athletic than me who just figured it out before I did, and I was okay with that. I used to judge every single moment of my life, and now I just leave it alone, man. I'm open to it. Like animal flow, Michael's animal flow. I'm not nearly as good as he is, but I try to incorporate that wherever I can. All right, there's sideways, Mister. But it's so valuable. It's one of the coolest things that I almost know how to do. You know what I mean? Like I can do yoga all day long, man. You know what I mean? And I can climb a rope like a monkey on the moon. But there's and that's the whole thing. Working on your weaknesses, working on your strengths. My push strength isn't what my pull strength is. But that's all okay. It's okay.
And that's one of the cool things about this camp coming up too, is I don't think we've really had room for Michael to teach that kind of thing. And now he'll be able to teach some animal flow. Which
yeah. I mean, those our workout spaces are massive. So yeah. Michael, what's your prognosis on your biceps? Where are you?
What do you want to know about my butt? I can tell you a lot of. Can you hear me? I'm hiding in a bathroom right now, so I might sound echoey or something like that.
You're fine.
My bicep is.
By the way, we're not going to use anything you say anyway, so that's fine.
All right. I think my bicep should be good. See you later, Lou. That's really that's all I wanted to say. Is goodbye.
Lou, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Be good, man. We'll see you soon, man. May's around the corner.
But yeah, they said that I'm 3 weeks out from surgery, 3 or 4, 3.5, something. And I should start to be able to do some things. I can move my arm, so it works. So yeah.
Quick question. Day after, what was that pain like?
It actually, when I came out of surgery, it hurt pretty bad. Like right out of the box, it was quite painful. And then I took some pain meds the first few days because I remember I didn't do that with my knee, and I had like the longest night of my life was that first night. It felt like somebody had, ripped open my leg and drilled holes and connected things back together, which is exactly what happened. But yeah, the first few days were pretty rough, and then they left the stitches in too long, in my opinion. So the stitches are actually hurting really bad because it's like fish hook, like pulling my arm. So once I got the stitches out, it's been pretty good. It hasn't been too painful. So like, I mean, I use it probably more than I'm supposed to, but it hasn't broken yet. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, they put screws in my arm that are still in there because they were afraid I was going to silly crap too soon.
You did.
Yeah, I don't know. What they did with mine is I'm holding with one hand, so I'm using it. So they drilled into the bone, and then they did a smaller drill through my bone, and then put like a button cap on the other side of my bone. Is that how they did yours, or
exact same thing?
Yeah. Okay. Well, they say that it's pretty good.
It's great. I don't like that at all.
What's that?
So why does my arm look like a baby arm still, and yours looks great? 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Well, this arm's fine. Like that one is okay.
What?
This one's.
I'd call that okay.
Well, let me see that. Yeah, the other one looks pretty sad.
Well, I'm afraid to flex it. I can't. I don't dare flex it yet. But it's. I think it's attached. So.
Okay.
Just a word to you folks out there: be careful.
Before you do your bit, I see Gary. I'm afraid to not have Gary say it right now. Gary, do you want to try it again? Oh.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm having horrible Wi-Fi connection. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a New England windstorm here. Can you hear me?
You're not saying anything important, so we can hear you right now. But I'm sure right when you say something important, it's going to go away.
All right. All I wanted to do, the Paragon experience was a wonderful experience. The fitness, the friendships, and I'm still friends with people. Our Paragon Facebook page is still active, but I just opened up my Paragon notebook that I took, and I haven't looked at it in a long time. And I saw my second entry was, who do you love? Why do you love them? And what do you love? And I thought, and that's such a great message. And then my very last entry, I don't know where it came from, why I wrote it, but it is joy, happiness, and laughter right there. And that pretty much sums up Paragon Camp to me. It was joy, and it was happiness, and it was laughter, and it was Michael Bradley.
No, by the way, that was my seminar, and those were all my words, but fine, you can give Michael the credit.
But yeah, so it was more than just, it was more than just that. It was touching something in your heart, in your soul. And it was life-changing, for sure.
And since your lighting is perfect and your sound is so good, talk to the beginners out there that are fearful and scared to be at.
Oh, I was one of those fearful, scared beginners. And I remember I got the email saying, you've been selected to go to Paragon Camp. And I literally jumped up and went, yay. And then I immediately went, oh, I can't do that. I'm not. But, because I thought, oh my gosh, what am I getting into? And I went there, and there was absolutely, the moment you walked through the gates of Paragon Experience, you felt warmth, you felt camaraderie, you were cheered for what you could do, and you were cheered for what you couldn't do. And when you fell, you got picked back up. And, my Paragon experience wasn't the rope. My Paragon challenge was I saw people doing the salmon ladder on the ninja course. And I said, I'm not going to do that. No way can I do that. But I sucked it up, and I managed to get up 3 or 4 rungs. So that was my Paragon moment of, yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any one thing that was happening at our house on Paragon, that salmon ladder, I mean, still, all of us, we do it every Sunday. We've been doing it for years. We look at that dang thing and go, is today the day that I cannot do it? Is today the day I can't?
Yeah, that was the challenge there.
It's a violent thing that requires so many skills, and and for a guy who was like, I don't even know if I want to go to this thing, for you to volunteer to do that and get up it, that's just, you know, he's like, oh, okay, how monumental is that? It's Everest, you know, in my opinion, I think, and that's a great thing, Gary. And I'm glad you were able to get your connection again, Windstorm and all, because you did a great job just now, and that's
Thank you.
Some valuable stuff that we're going to be able to hopefully get more people to show up because of what you said. So
Yeah. Well, you two are awesome, and you know, you're an inspiration. And I look at Tony most every day when I hit a Power Nation video. So,
yeah,
and
good.
also, you know what going to Paragon Camp was like? We've been watching you for 15, 20 years on these videos. And when you walk into Paragon Experience, you're suddenly on it. You're suddenly in one of your videos. You're a part of it. That's what was one of the best things. It's like, yeah, I could have a camera here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a video right then and there.
I am.
It's real life. It's you.
It was real life. I didn't have to wish I was in the video. I was doing it.
Well, we got actually one cool thing is we have a videographer that's going to be there almost every day.
Every day.
Shooting all these things, you know what I mean? Yeah. Which we know, and we had some people there periodically to shoot a couple things, interviews and whatnot. But yeah, so you will be in workout videos, Gary. And yes. I don't know, probably a porn site. Who the heck knows where it'll be?
There's a lot of deep fakes going to be going on, I bet, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate your hard work to getting back on.
Yeah. And then really quickly, before we lose Michael, and I know it's 7:30 and people probably have to jump off, but I just wanted Michael to talk about the importance of breath work and the importance of animal flow, because those are two things that I know a lot of people for totally different reasons steer clear of. And Michael's the fittest guy we know. So I'd like everybody to hear from him why it's so important, why he thinks it's so important.
Yeah. And by the way, Michael, just to give you some context, this is something that's going to go out. So, I mean, you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Hey, but for those of you that are considering Paragon, you know, you're like, what is this all about? Here's what I'm going to provide at this event, which has been critical for me in my life and for people in past Paragons, and that Tony Horton fellow uses it too. Because, you know, I think
you're putting words in his mouth. Let him go.
Well, yeah, take those words, put them in your mouth, and then use your.
I'll just start moving my mouth.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, do it. Well, anyway, everybody, Michael Bradley here. I just want you to know that I really feel like it's imperative that you work on a couple of things. One of them is animal flow, and it's helping with flexibility, strength, mobility, really good. And also breathing. Breathing's good. Not holding your breath, but and banana cake.
And cut.
All right, we got it, I think we're good.
Yep, we'll use that. All right.
I'm going to mute us and you take it away, Michael.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, do you want me to just go with that? And then, okay. So one thing that I love about Paragon is that I'm able to show people that come some of the benefits of the things that I really like to do and that I find beneficial, that some people might be a little bit intimidated with. One of them is animal flow, animal movements, because so often, you know, you look at something online of somebody doing some animal movement thing and you're just like, that looks crazy. It looks weird. You know, I can't do that and I don't want to do that. I don't want to look stupid or anything like that. But the people that are able to, you know, kind of tippy toe into that and do a little bit of that, immediately they realize the benefits of it. They realize, you know, the strength, the coordination, the balance, and just the skill all around. And so much of those things that we lose as we get older, we get stiffer, we get weaker, we get more afraid of judgment. You know, you watch a kid crawling around on the ground, they don't care that people are watching them. But when you start to do these animal movements, it kind of takes you out of your comfort zone mentally and emotionally, but also physically as well. And you can start to discover what your body can do on a whole different level. You know, you're not doing 3 sets of 10. You're just kind of letting things flow. And it's a really fun thing to not only to do, but to watch other people kind of step into, and they start to get a little bit more comfortable. And lots of the time I'll see people's videos online and I'll see, you know, this is where I started. This was the first time doing primal flow or whatever. And then a year later to see the progress they've made is incredible, you know. And you see, you know, they're 50 years old and they can move better than most 20-year-olds. So that's one thing that I like to do in Paragon, is being able to get people one-on-one, in person, to kind of break the ice on those animal movements. Another big thing, and which is getting more and more popular these days, is breathing, which is something that we've always done. Every Paragon, there's always been breathing sessions. And I think a lot of people are getting more aware and more in tune of how important those things are. But so much of our life these days is so much in our head, and we get stressed, we get worried about the future, we get, you know, we're regretting something in the past, but we're 99% of the time not in the present. And one thing that breathing does, no matter how, you know, how much you know about breathing or how little, is just paying attention to your breath gets you out of your headspace and into your body, which is one of the most powerful things you can do, because it's bringing you into the present. And you don't have power to change the future, or you can't change the past, but you can take action on what's happening right now. And breath is probably the easiest tool that you have in your body to get you out of your headspace, into your body, and into the present. And then along with those things, I mean, we work on all sorts of things that are totally different challenges, like breath holding activities and different ways to breathe, not only to perform, you know, at a higher athletic level, but also to reduce stress and to help people sleep, and you know, help people stay on track with their nutrition, even, because if you can tune into, you know, the present moment, you're going to be less distracted with your eating, and less spending less time eating in a stressful way. So those things I like to be able to communicate in person, which is perfect because Paragon is an in-person event, because so much of those things I think we lose if you're, you know, if you're watching something online, or if you're reading it in a book. You're not able to have that tactile experience of being able to do it, and being able to be corrected on it, and being able to learn from other people as well, and being able to share experiences. So yeah, if you're on the fence about Paragon and it sounds scary, that's great, because if you're not doing scary things, then you're probably not progressing very much. So that's where you want to be. You want to be stepping into that feeling of, this is intimidating, because that means that you're still brave, and you're still challenging yourself in life, and you're still going places. So take that step. I know it's scary. I had those moments too. And I have those moments. I try to have those moments all the time, of putting myself in uncomfortable positions and trying to learn what I can from them. So go ahead and jump in, and we'll help each other along the way.
So well said.
Michael, who are you?
Well,
you know, I just from you know, I feel so lucky. I mean, I always talked about Brian. I think he's still here. Brian, you're still here? Did he leave?
I hope you left.
You know, I just feel so lucky, and that's what's great about Paragon. You just meet these people you would never meet in a billion years, and they end up being your damn best friends. And I feel that way about Michael. I mean, Ted McDonald and I had a yoga retreat up in Mammoth 1,000 years ago, and there's this long-haired hippie freak in the back of the room who had just hiked 2.5 miles from the Motel 6 because he had like 45 cents in his pocket. But he was, you know, he was like this. We never met anybody quite like him. And you know, now he's our fake adopted son.
That's right.
And Brian is my fake adopted brother. And both of these guys have made my life so infinitely better. You know what I mean? And so I think the one big takeaway from me is just, and you know, we've kind of covered this anyway to a certain extent, is just meeting other people with different perspectives who are on the same kind of journey, and maybe they're at a different level of the journey, but you're all, just because these people are around, me, Michael, Brian, and all of us, to, you know, collectively, there's just this massive boost in who we are in so many ways, just by being in the room, you know, and just by saying yes to being at this event. And, you know, look, we throw this together. This is a buttload of work, man, to make this happen.
Especially for Tony. Poor Tony.
Yeah, I was out skiing all day for like 5 hours. I'm exhausted from that level of doing nothing to help this thing happen. But like I tell Shauna, you know, my job is to get on stage, hit my mark, and then go home. And she does all the backstory stuff. But you know, look, this is our team. This is what we do, and then we surround ourselves with really cool cats like Michael and Jesse Graff and Brian and others. And Scott Morgan will be there. You know, I mean, Scott's just gotten to be you know, he's no kid either. And he's just a freak. You know, he's doing muscle ups now. You know, he's a perfect example of somebody who is a, you know, kind of a semi out of shape scratch golfer. You know what I mean? There's a lot of skill in that, right? But who he is now, he's just a phenomenal guy, a phenomenal human being. And everybody, I mean, I did a speech in New Orleans 2 days before the fire started, in front of 2,000 firefighters from all over the United States and Canada. You know, I look out in the audience, and you know, these are, by the way, firefighters. I think I saw 37 different types of mustaches. It was amazing. So, look, there's a firefighter without a mustache. That's weird. But you know, I looked out in the audience and I asked everybody almost at the beginning. I said, and these, look what they do for a living. I mean, you know, that gear, getting up and down stairs, putting out fires, saving lives. You know, I mean, that maniac that drove his car and killed 12 people, that happened 7 days before my speech. So it was a lot of, you know, it was heavy when I was there, and I tried to lighten things up a little bit, trying to read the room. And, you know, I asked everybody, I said, you know, before I begin, I want to get a sense of the room. Stand up if you feel like you're in sort of the best shape of your life and you're really strong and you're eating right and you're dealing with your stress and you got a mindfulness practice and blah, 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 blah. You know, I went down the list of all the things that you would hope firefighters would be. 18 people stood up out of 2,000. And the suicide rate with firefighters and EMT and coppers is through the roof. You know what I mean? And heart attack, stroke, hypertension, it's a long list. Because after you've, you know, pulled a body out of a fire and you go home, it's not like I want to do yoga or eat some, you know, some gluten-free pasta with grilled vegetables. It's a 6-pack and Dairy Queen for a lot of these guys, and they're suffering needlessly. So you learn a lot. I mean, I've learned a lot from, you know, and Michael is brilliant at disseminating what it requires. You know, I mean, P90X is possible because I had a certain non-autumn Calabrese technique. Oh, that was a slam, wasn't it? You know what I mean? Sorry. Still bitter. But you know what I mean? Like, it really comes down to that. Like, the folks that you're learning from, do they make it fun? Do they make it interesting? Does it resonate? And Michael and Jesse and I and others, I think that's what part of what Paragon's about. Just we got some good people sharing what they know.
Yeah. Oh, the one thing I want you to say, this is probably the only time I'm ever going to actually ask you to talk.
Dog hairs hanging off my beard.
The one thing I want you to say.
First time you want me to talk.
Exactly. When you finished the mastermind with Michelle Pettis, tell everyone, because she's going to be speaking, and this is why I think this is very powerful, how what she said affected you. I've never seen you affected this way by any of the other mastermind people, I don't think.
God, I kind of forget exactly what she said. It was a while ago.
But you'll remember how it affected you emotionally.
Well, yeah. So I don't even want to give it away because she will say it, and I want to let her to say it. So, you know, look, whatever. I've had all kinds of experiences with different kind of diets and what to eat: vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, blah 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 blah. Right. And so I'm in sort of this plant-based heavy thing, but I still cheat once in a while. You know, I mean, I'm a human being, like we all are. But so I had this mastermind with Michelle Pettis, who will be at Paragon, and I think of all the people, and I won't name names, but all the people that I talk to in regards to nutrition, and this is a woman who has lost and gained 700 pounds. You know, I mean, her journey with food has been a roller coaster for sure. But the way she approaches it, what she said specifically about the techniques that she learned, partly from her dad, but just sort of in general, you know, because she's obviously, when you lose and gain 700 pounds, you know, you get some kind of philosophy, you try it for a while, and then you cave, and then you try it again, and you cave.
And you tried something else and something else and something else. She'd tried everything, and then she figured out.
She figured out how to stick with a specific plan that has worked for her. And this is a woman that was very vulnerable to just, you know, failing in this area for a very long time. And she's gonna be able to share with everybody here who struggles with food a little bit. Some of you worse than others, that I think will be more impactful than anything you've ever heard when it comes to diet. Yeah. She will blow.
And she has figured out a way for everybody to apply this technique to their life, to anything they're struggling with, to kind of figure out, why am I doing this and how can I make the shift, which is what Paragon is all about, right? It's like, I was this person, I wasn't really sure why I did a lot of things. And like to Jason's point, you find out some things about yourself that you never even knew might have been getting in your way. So that's why I think she's going to workshop it. We have 2 people doing that, which is a first for us, kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited for everybody to get a chance to work with her, and it's not just the food, which I know probably 90% of people actually do have some area where they're not perfect or would like to be better. But just different things in your life. And I know everyone has a sticking point in their life. So,
And to button that, health and wellness, the most difficult piece to health and wellness is diet. I mean, you can ask anybody that question, they'll go, of course. And I think what she's going to share can end that Ferris wheel of gaining and losing. She has her techniques, and I mean, I was greatly impacted. I do this for a living, and it was in a Zoom call.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be in a workshop with her face to face, dealing with this stuff, and
because food's not all about weight, right? Food should be about health, not about your current weight or what you see in the mirror, right? It should be about how you're feeling, you're fueling your body. For physical, mental, and emotional well-being.
Here's the piece of what she's going to say, because I'm going to give it away now. Every morsel that she looks at, every meal, every whatever it is, a snack, energy bar, a beverage, she says to herself, is everything about what I'm about to put in my mouth have everything to do with my health and my wellness and the quality of my life? If it has those things, I will eat it. If it does not have those things, I will not. And she has that, written for her. Does it provide everything I need to live a long, happy, healthy life? Does it give me the nutrients, the ingredients that I need to improve the quality of my life? Yes or no? And it's that simple. It's that simple. You know what I mean? And that's only that much. So. Cool. Anyway, you guys, we kept you on for a very long time, partly because I talk too much.
You did a really good job this time. Garrett has a comment.
Yeah, Garrett, go, Bubba.
Just a quick real-time update. I've been texting back and forth with my wife during the call, and she's overhearing my desire to go. And we have our tax return coming in pretty soon, and we were planning on upgrading our sofas due to child abuse of them, child's abusing them. And we said, do you think we can hang on to those for one more year, and then we can use what we were planning to use for that to go to Paragon? And I said, well, that'd be nice. She's like, okay, then let's do it. Okay. I said, cool. So I have resources.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Garrett. Keep your lousy couches longer. Happy birthday to you. That's amazing.
I have one more thing to say if y'all have some time. I just want to say that you always hear people say, don't meet your idols because they might turn out to be jerks. I just want to say that was one of my worries to meeting Tony. But when I went to Paragon, I have to say, he's exactly what you think he's going to be. He's exactly the same as you see him on the videos. He's humble. He's great. So if you're worried about meeting him in person, don't be.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's all smoke and mirrors. As soon as you all leave, I'm a rat bastard. Okay.
Yeah, I think you should be scared.
Finger pointing, nasty.
Well, you do a good job.
The reason why Shauna's still around, I have to pay her like 10 grand every other week just to keep her in, nice dress.
I was never worried about that because Tony was never one of my idols, so it was easy to meet him.
Yeah, that's why you dragged yourself to Mammoth with 47 cents in your pocket just to be within my presence.
I had a crush on Ted, actually, was the thing there.
Well, dude, by the way, ain't nobody else has got 3 programs on Power Nation. And yours, by the way, yours is coming out. When's your next one coming out?
April 1st.
April 1st. April Fools.
Yep. It's a big joke, the whole thing.
No, and Mary's in it, and Garrett's in it, and Tony's in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's, yeah.
Dan
That's all on
McCord?
here.
Does
We'll get the
Dan
rest
know?
of you next time.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll get more.
Yeah, that's the other cool thing about coming to Paragon is basically we're all friends for life after that, and then we call you up and say, "Hey, can you be in one of these videos? We need some."
Yeah, then you have to do favors all the time.
That's right. You have to be in videos.
Well, it was
for the rest of
what,
your life.
I don't think it's you, Garrett, but Dan McCourt just happened to be visiting, right? He wasn't even scheduled to be in one. Yeah, Dan, what are you doing this afternoon? I don't know. Yeah, I want you to be in this video with us.
I was hoping to enjoy my vacation, but okay.
Timing is everything.
Right.
Hey, kids, no new couches. Anyway.
All those.
Yeah, the
That's
week
gonna be
after
smarter, fittier, and Joy, happy to
Fittier.
slap your dad on his birthday, but those ratty ass couches are going to have to be around for a little bit longer. Well, dude, that's awesome, man. That's such great news, and we're thrilled to have you there. You're going to be an influence, man. You just probably take over me by the second day. So put you on stage and share what you know, your love, your happiness, and your laughter. Thank you all for doing this. Look for yourself. Look for yourselves in ads on Facebook and Instagram in the coming days and weeks. Except for Michael, he won't use his stuff again.
That's fine. I'm already on a bunch of ads. So
You are,
Yeah.
dude. You are. Love you all. Thank you all. And by the way,
We can't wait
Gloria,
to see those of you that are coming. Very excited about that.
Gloria, checks in the mail. I know, because you really know I'm not a good person. Checks in the mail too.
Thanks.
Sort.
Yeah.
And you too, Lola.
Another IOU.
Show everybody Lola. So look at this face.
Aw.
Oh, she's so tired. Look, she's shy too. She's camera shy.
Yeah.
Can you look that
The
way?
eyeballs. Look at
Yeah,
the-
now she's scared. She thinks we're gonna do something horrible to her for some reason. Yeah.
Run, Lola, run.
I know. Where'd Charlie go? There he is.
He's over there.
There's his chair. Michael, those two chairs by the window? He just goes back and forth. And there are these wooden arms. They're like a hard and sharp. Just plops his head. Whatever. Like you and I, we start to bleed just by Charlie. I'm good.
You should try it. Try it next time he's over there.
I will. We'll take a picture of me.
I've been sitting in one of those chairs and I can't even keep my arms down on them.
They were free. We might donate them to Garrett.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah, bring your truck, Garrett.
Yeah,
By
I'll
the
make
way-
sure to bring furniture. Put the furniture there.
So I love still making my wife laugh hard. Yes. That's what matters. Thank you all so much. So looking forward to seeing again John and Jason and Mary and Garrett and Matthew and
I have
Gloria
to say,
and everybody else.
Just doing this, I'm getting so excited about
I know.
having another Paragon.
I know. And by the way, I don't want to give away anything, but there are some things I'm working on, some things I've learned in the last year about how to get the best out of people, how to really be able to express myself in such a way, articulating certain philosophies, techniques that I hope resonate better than what I've done in the past, so that people really come away with like a lot more ahas, So I'm looking for, so I'm looking forward to being able to do that. And if they don't work, just whisper in my ear, "That's terrible. You're doing a horrible job."
Go back to the other thing.
Yeah.
Stick with fitness.
Make me do push-ups. We're gonna have some fun reindeer games too, after dinner, right? Belly full of food, wall squats. Gloria, I expect you to win again.
Exactly. Well, not only that, but there's different challenges they've got a really fun. So the people at the ninja course, they get people of all walks of life, shapes and sizes and whatever, and they really know how to put people through these and give them cues on, how to get further and further. So they've already got all kinds of fun challenges set up. So we just kind of show up and bring the prizes, really.
Or we just sit in lounge chairs and drink some beers and watch Jesse graph through things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how is she? Because Jesse will grab a thing and shake out this arm, like just holding on to like a hairpin, for whatever 5 seconds, then go to the next thing. It's amazing to watch her do her
Yeah,
thing.
if you're praying people, I would never do this to anyone except for Jessie Graff. Let's pray she does not get a movie during
Yes.
Paragon or
Or-
she's gonna say
Or a stunt gig. Yeah, because
Exactly.
we've got her But, you know, and that always happens though, right? Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I just booked a thing in
Yeah. So
Bulgaria.
let's hope she doesn't.
Yeah.
Just for that one day.
Pray for her unemployment.
So mean.
Just one day.
All right. I'm so proud of you, Jason. I'm so excited for you. Oh my gosh. What a thing.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited
good.
to reconnect with everyone that's here and more people and
Yeah.
keep
I
growing.
predict CEO of the company you work for in
Seriously.
4.5 years.
Seriously.
He looks like he's already sitting at a CEO desk right there.
I know.
He's
I know.
already practicing.
Yeah, man. It's like an episode of Mad Men right there. All right, everybody. Thank you again.
Real.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Glad we get to
Thank you.
pre-meet you, Matthew. We look forward to meeting you in person.
Definitely. Yep.
Get your car and come here.
I'm only up in San Francisco, so
Tell your wife and children they can handle themselves. Get your butt here. Let's go.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
You don't need a bicep to ski.
See you.
good night.
Bye, everybody. That was great.
Jared,
See ya.
tell your wife
Thank you. Appreciate you all. Bye, Mary.
Got it. We'll do.
Talk to you a lot coming up, Mary.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
You know, I'm glad that you've really enjoyed this interview. I can tell because you're watching it, because I can see you. Anyway, since you're here, I know you're really going to fall madly in love with this next one. I mean, I'm talking about knowledge consumed by you. All you got to do is go right over there